to add our next face and make it look like it's sitting inside of the first one. So I'm going to start by getting my photo of my next expression, which is right there. I'm going to drag that into Photoshop, hit return, and now I'm going to use my quick selection tool and remove it from its background. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down, select subject. I'm going to hit Command C to copy the selection and Command V to paste the selection. I will delete the previous layer. And there we go. Now we're going to do some work to this so that we can kind of get it where we need to. So I want to get rid of the shoulders and my neck. I just want my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer mask. I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And up here at the top, I'm going to make sure that my brush is hard round and my opacity is 100%. Now I'm just going to erase everything that I don't want. So I'm going to erase kind of around my face here. Again, this is where craftsmanship comes into play. You want to make sure that you're doing a nice, clean layer masking job. I messed up there a little bit, so I'm going to hit Command Z. I'm going to come back in, make sure that my edge is nice and clean, nice and crisp. Again, there should be no jagged edges. After I do that, I can actually take a soft round brush with really minimal opacity and kind of go over the edge a little bit if you want. Try to soften it. Doesn't really do much of a good job. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm actually going to get rid of some of the hair up at the top here. Make sure my opacity. Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this because that is unwanted, just like that. Maybe this little strand of hair here. Good. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I got a little bit more down here. Get rid of these shoulders. Good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this head inside so that it looks like it is in my head there. Make it a little bit bigger so it's sitting inside. I'm going to make it so it's not too big, just like that. Okay, maybe rotate it a little bit. Now I'm going to drag this underneath my previous face layer and above the head, and voila, it looks like it's sitting inside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some shadows to this so that it's looking like it's actually sitting inside of this head here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to hold Command and click on the icon of my face layer here so that I have a selection of my face. And with my layer 4 activated, I'm going to grab a paintbrush. I'm going to grab soft brush. It's under general brushes. I'm going to make the opacity about 20 or 30%. And I'm going to grab like a brownish color here, not black. And if you look, I'm going to actually just kind of add some shadow. I'm going to add kind of some shadowing around where it's sitting down. That brown looks a little weird. I'm going to make that a little darker. Kind of like a nice dark brown. Just like that. I don't want to get, I got a little bit outside of the head there. Again, I just want this to be on the face. Just kind of around the edge is all I'm doing here. So if you look, it gives it that kind of depth where it looks like there's a little shadow there. All right, so it looks like it's sitting inside of the head there. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that my head is activated here. I'm going to grab my lasso tool, and I'm going to make my next cut for my next head, like we did with the previous one. I'm going to go up to Layer, New, New layer via cut. I'll delete that layer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually draw my circle. See, and I like to make the edges look a little bit kind of like puzzle pieces. That'll kind of make it look kind of cool. So now I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to grab my lasso, and I'm going to draw kind of my next. That looks kind of weird. Kind of my next portion of my head. Kind of like that. I'll go to Edit, Fill, choose my color. I'm going to put that underneath my head here, just like that. And with that selected, I'm going to grab a paintbrush that's soft, about 30%. And I'm just going to brush in here and make this have like a nice shadow. Just like that. Just so it looks like it's three-dimensional. I'll hit Command D. And now I'm going to click on my face layer here. I'm going to go to my layer styles. I'll add my bevel and emboss. I'll go to my new head layer here. I'll go to my bevel and emboss. And now I got my second head stacked in there. So again, what we kind of covered here is adding shadows so that things look like they're actually stacked. Adding that bevel emboss and using a layer mask to help make it look like that face is exactly cut out the way and size that we want it to be. All right, so the time is yours. You're going to add your second head, save, and submit. Good luck.